Alright, for this video we're going to talk about how to undo fractions in an equation. So we've been working on this for a couple days in class now. Most of the problems you're seeing have a fraction multiplied by a variable, and then add or subtract an integer, and then equals an integer. This problem is the same. Then we're going to try and isolate x to get it alone to see what it is. So just like any math problem, we are going to make a line over the equal sign so we can balance our problem. And we're going to start by just taking the layers off. So equals 8 minus 17. How are we going to get minus 17 away from that? We're going to go ahead and add 17 to both sides. So in doing that, I end up eliminating here. I have 5 over 6x is equal to 8 plus 17. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we have right now 5 sixths x equals 25. So something I like to do when I'm solving with the fractions is I like to make both sides of the equation fractions. It just makes it easier to balance. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is 25 over 1. You can do that with any whole number. Put it over 1, it becomes a fraction. So looking at this, we have to get rid of 5 sixths x. So this is 5 sixths times x, and usually we're thinking, okay, if we're multiplying something, the way to undo it is to divide. But we know from 7th grade math that dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. The reciprocal is when the numerator and the denominator switch. So we would have 6/5 would be the reciprocal here. So we are going to do that, but I want you to think more about it like, what can I multiply to this side of the equation in order to get this to be 1? So if I multiply this by 6/5, then we end up having 5 times 6 becomes 30, and 6 times 5 becomes 30. 30 divided by 30 is just 1. So it's a way to cancel out that side. And that's how we manipulate it so we can get the answer. However, if we multiply this side by 6/5, we have to multiply this side by 6/5. And so in doing so, we have 25 times 6. Well, 25 times 4 is 100, so 25 times 6 is 150. And then 1 times 5 goes here, and then we can cancel 150 divided into 5 groups. If we were to divide 5 into 15, we get 30, or 3, so add that 0 and make 30. So x is 30. Now, to make sure that we have the correct answer, we always want to plug it back in. So I'll rewrite the problem as 5 sixths, and then leave a place where x was, and then minus 17 equals 8. When we're multiplying by a fraction, it's really important for us to go ahead and write it over 1. So 30 over 1. So now I have 5 times 30, which is 150, divided by 6 minus 17 should equal 8. Well, 150 divided by 6 is going to end up being, let's see, 3 goes into 6 2 times, and then 150, 3 goes into 150 50 times, and so 50 divided by 2 simplifies down to 25. So now I have 25 minus 17 equals 8, and 25 minus 17 is in fact 8. So there you go. Our answer to this problem is x equals 30. I'll go ahead and do another example here. So again, I'm going to draw my line here because I know I want to get my equation balanced. And the first thing I'm going to eliminate with this problem is the 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. And we end up getting negative 2 over 7x is equal to 30. 30 minus 10 is 20. 20 minus 2 more is 18. So 30 minus 12 is 18. And so again, we have negative 2 sevenths x equals 18. Let's go ahead and put this over 1. The way I'm going to get rid of this negative 2 sevenths is I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I have 7 over 2. And I'm going to bring that negative sign over here just to match the 2. And so I have 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Negative 2 times 7, also negative 14x. Cross this out, this just becomes 1x. And I'm going to multiply the 7 over 2 like this, but this is a negative 2. So I have 18 times 7. Now, I don't have a calculator with me, and I'm not going to do that in my head. So what I'm going to do is say negative 2 goes into negative 2 one time. Negative 2 goes into 18. Negative 9 times 7 is negative 63. So x should in theory be negative 63. Since I'm not sure about the answer, I'm going to go ahead and plug that back in. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. Negative 2 over 7, parentheses where x should be, plus 12 should equal 30. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll plug in negative 63 over 1. So I happen to know that 7 goes into 63 9 times, so I can cancel this out. 7 goes into 7 1 time. 7 goes into negative 63 negative 9 times. Negative 2 times negative 9 is positive 18 plus 12, and that equals 30. And in fact, it does. So I have 18 plus 12 equals 30. 30 equals 30. You can't quite see that, but there it is. So that's how you solve the basic fraction problem if you have the fraction multiplied by the x and then an integer and then equals an integer. On my next video, I will show you how to solve fractions that have parentheses where you need to distribute. All right, thank you.